Welcome back to Lip and Lure. My name's Gunnar. Just going solo today. So what I've got in store for you today, this is a bait that I started on probably a couple weeks ago that I hand carved. I've got a white coat on it right now. Nothing super fancy, nothing too crazy. Again, just the white coat. What happened is I started to paint this on a live video. Absolutely hated the way it turned out. And again, this is a hand carved bait, so I want it to turn out how I like it. I don't want to be disappointed with this bait. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do a crawl pattern on it for you guys and show you how I do that and kind of do a step-by-step. I'm not going to walk through every pace. Some of it's going to be sped up with a little bit of a B-roll. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this today with you guys and kind of show you my technique and how I do a craw bait. So with that said, go ahead and get started and come right down and show you guys what I'm going to get started off with. Alright, so here we are with, again, this hand carved bait. I'm going to go ahead. First thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to start with this. I thought I was going to. I'm going to start with a pretty bright orange for the base, and then I'm going to fade it into a dark red for the sides and kind of keep it with that early spring craw color. And that's what I'm going to shoot for with this, and let's just see how it turns out. Put a little bit of this orange in the gun. See if we can't get it started. Looks like it's shooting pretty well. That should work out fairly well to get this coat on here and how I want it. Now again, my plan with this is kind of go with that dirtier look, that spring color cross. I'm going to go with this deeper red after I pop this orange. I'm going to go ahead and heat set this, and then we'll move on to another coat to really brighten that up. And we're all out of the orange, and with that, I'm going to move right on to the next color. Alright guys, like I said, I'm moving on. I'm going to use, this is a red that I've mixed up myself. It's actually got a little bit of a brown, a little bit of a black, and a gold shimmer to it. And it turns out pretty amazing for this color scheme that I'm going to be doing today. So, I'm going to put a little bit of this into the gun here. Hopefully without pouring out the makeshift BB we have. And get this top coat applied onto this. Get this second layer going. You can see how that red's starting to transition to that belly. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. Ooh, need a little bit more paint in the gun. Seems to be atomizing a little bit better. I turn the... Seems we're getting some clogs here. But I am getting that nice fade that I like. Now let's get right back into it. Here, I'm going to try something a little bit different that I haven't tried yet. I'm going to try throwing a little bit of this transparent brown across the back and make it a little bit darker even. And see what that does for us. Usually I would try to do like a black, but I'm thinking this brown is going to make it pop. Hopefully we get the effect, or I get that effect that I'm looking for. And again, this is just going to be real light here. Give it a real subtle darkness to it, and I'm actually really liking that. I'm going to do it a little bit down the ridge. Sorry, you guys can't see that. Bring it down the ridge a little bit. Trying to think and work under the camera is still a new process for me, so please bear with me as I get through these processes and learn how to do this a little bit more effectively for you guys. But I'm liking the transition that I'm getting, and I think I'm going to even keep that little bit of orange under that nose and just keep that there. Alright, here comes the real fun part. This is where the stencils lay on and all of that good stuff. But before I do that, again, I need to do one more quick heat set, and then we'll roll straight into doing the stencils. Alright guys, I'm back after some much needed maintenance. You got to take care of your airbrushes. Just had some clogging, had some issues with the trigger, and so now that I'm back at it, I'm jumping right back into this. As I was saying, now we're moving on to putting the stencils on and getting that craw pattern. Now these are ones that I have made personally. I have tried using others that they have made online, etc. You know, buying someone else's stencils. I just didn't seem to like it. Didn't like the way that it turned out. Didn't like the way that it worked. But we're going to get right into making this come together. So first, just going to lay this over the top here. And just ever so lightly, just wanted to get that black paint barely started. And then come over the top, following the stencil edge so that you get that line that pronounces it. Now, as you can see, on one side, it's a little bit more profound than the other. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to line it back up, and I make sure to get a little bit more paint on this other side. And that way, I have a couple of hard lines to work off of when I bring my other stencil in to all of this. Now, I'm just going to continue that pattern down the back, and so that I get my lines where everything seems to connect. With this one being so big, I should be able to get away with about this much distance in between, roughly 3/4 of an inch. Alright, now I've got both of those lines on either side, and again, I'm going to continue this going down. There we go. So, we got that top ridge, again, it comes down on either side, and I'm going to wrap that all together. Now I'm coming in with the bigger stencil that I have, and I'm going to wrap this around the head, and again gives it that profound line like you would see on a craw, and the way that the shell wraps. I'm just going to continue that pattern down. Now that I'm getting further down the belly, I'm going to kind of move to a smaller stencil that I've made, and I'm going to wrap all this up and pull it all together on the bottom here. You'll see what I'll do. With a little bit of that overspray that happens from time to time. But again, that's that pattern. Alright, now I've got you guys flipped around once again with me. I am going to tighten down these helping hands so things don't move on me as much as they have been. And just really hold this bait in place for while I finish up this other side. Quick tip for when you're using stencils, again, I know we mention this in every video, just so you guys are aware, if you're making your own baits, make sure to wipe your stencil off on any of your surfaces, get that excess paint off. You do not want that getting onto the bait. Do not want that transferred on there. Let's see about where I transitioned. Okay. So I transitioned about here. And so I'm going to do about the same. Try to line it up to the best you can. And just go from there. Again, I'm going to come down. Just a little of that overspray, guys. Double check which side and when. Fourth one down is when I transition, because each bait is different. It's easier to do on the pre-mades that we get when we do our paint jobs on. And get to use the blanks. When you're doing your own lure, the sizes vary, and so you kind of just have to double check and make sure that you're lining up to the best of your ability of where you had it previously. Now, double check, see if there's any changes I would like to make. And you know what? I'm really happy with how that turned out. Got that really nice dark crop color with that bright orange belly. I'm going to go ahead and then, I don't know if I'm going to leave, you know what, I've got an idea for this one. Alright guys, so here we are. I'm going to come over the belly of this. I was really thinking over for the last couple minutes, you know, what I wanted to do, how I was going to apply this, but I finally come up with the idea. I'm going to reverse one of my stencils and use it to come across the belly to get that pattern to where you get that belly marking as well. But I'm going to do this one very light. But as light as I can get it is my plan. That way it doesn't disrupt too much of the pattern and keep that nice orange tone. See, now it lined up, for the most part, from the belly to the body. Now I'm going to come over here. Transition was a little bit steeper on this side. I'm going to get these lines to connect really quick. Well, not exactly the effect I was going for, but it turned out pretty good. Again, this is for a personal use. Just want to show you guys what I chose to do with this one, how I changed it up. Now I'm going to come over the tail. I'm just going to darken it up, leave this nose really bright, and flip this around. And then we'll be on to the rest of the bait. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up here real quick. I'm going to add a little bit of black down here at the bottom to tie that in. Then I'm going to come over the ridge with a couple different colors. But I'm going to try to use up some of this black that I have left. Just lightly bring it on the tail. So what I've decided is I'm going to go ahead and come across this back with a little bit more brown and just a little to darken up the top and kind of give it an even base. And just going to do a few coats of that, and then we'll jump into the next portion. Actually, I'm going to throw a little bit at this belly too. Just on the back side. I'm going to leave right under the bill. Nice and bright, but kind of soften the tones as far as how bright it is on the belly. Yeah, I really like that. There we go. Again, softens it up, brings it really bright to the nose on all of that. Okay, so on to the final tricks on this one. I'm actually going to throw a little bit of pearlized copper at this one. Make the top pop. It's not gold, so it's not going to be super bright like we have with our satin golds, but it is going to give it a nice shimmer that'll really blend in nicely. I'm going to do that across the top of this and just a little in that belly section. Everywhere I did the brown, I'm going to throw a little bit of copper at it. And all it does is just give it a nice shimmer. Nothing to add too much to the color, but it's just going to make that top shine a little bit. Again, I'm going to throw it at the belly here, just again right with the brown. Nothing heavy, just a spritz on there. Alright, so for my final trick, I thought I was going to be doing a little bit more of that copper, but I decided I'm going to do something different. Instead of coming back in with another red, I'm going to keep it with this natural coloration that we get here in the Ozarks. And with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paintbrush with a little bit of Ozark green, and I'm going to go ahead and flick it onto here. And you'll just see how I'm going to do this. And again, not a ton, just some to give it some of that natural coloration. And I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes it does not work in certain aspects, but there we go. There we go. Might have been a little heavy on that side, but I still like it. Again, throw some greens at it, a little bit more here on the head. There we go. And that is my craw pattern. Alright, so I forgot to mention that I still need to do an eye on this. Now I've been sitting over here thinking for a few minutes, what color I'm going to do. Is red going to be too much to the liking of the colors, or yellow going to pull it back? And I've been fighting with myself and still currently am. I'm thinking the yellow is almost too bright, but the red I think will just solidify everything as it is, and so that's what I'm going to go with here on this one. It should help to just fully engage all the colors and bring it around, and yes, it does. That looks amazing. That's the color I'm going to go with, is the red, and finish that up. I'm going to put these eyes on here, and I will do a clear coat on this later, and I will post pictures up on the Instagram and Facebook pages. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. That's how I do my craws. Again, this one didn't turn out perfect, but it gives you the idea of what the processes are that we go through. This one was a little bit funkier because, again, this is a handmade one. It become a little bit harder to get those patterns to match up. Until I get these dialed in, I won't have that stencil absolutely correct, but I'm really loving how this turned out. Far better than the pattern I had before when I did the live. So again, we went with this craw pattern, and it's that dark early spring, some people call it a mud craw pattern that you get, and it's that nice dark color, and I threw a little bit of that Ozark green, and I really love the way that it turned out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video along with me here today. Again, my name is Gunnar. Thanks you for joining us here at Lip and Lure. Please don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to us, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the process. If you have any ideas of how I can improve or anything that can help to bolster us up, throw it. I'm all ears. I am all for criticism as long as it's productive and it helps me to get better at what I'm doing. But again, also hit that notification bell so you don't miss the content that we bring here at Lip and Lure. But also down below, we're also going to be able to find our Facebook, our Instagram, all those links for our channel, so you guys can follow us on our other platforms and check us out there. As well as I want to mention that anything that we have here on the channel that we make, that we create, is for sale. It's available to you guys. You can check out our Etsy. You can reach out to us on our email. You can reach out to us on our personal messengers through Facebook or Instagram or any of those pages, and reach out to us, guys. But anyhow, that's it for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video.